Hello everyone and welcome to episode 7 of Pokemon Crystal. In the last part, we had a lot of glitches in the video. I'm very sorry for that. I don't know what happened because when I finished recording it didn't have those, but when I made it off Camtasia, it did. I don't know what's wrong. Anyway, now we're in Goldenrod City, and we're in the building of the department store, which is a Pokemon mainstay. It's the biggest store in the game, with floors that sell all sorts of things, from normal store items to what's it called? To stat boosting items, TMs, all that kind of stuff. I don't know why I decided to talk to everyone. Maybe so you can. Oh, that's right. Just because I wanted to show you what has what. No, actually, if you look at this guy's sprite right here, you see he's actually holding a Game Boy Classic. They have these guys also in the Gen 3 games, which are supposedly holding a Game Boy Advance, but to me they just look like they have very purple torsos. Now, because I don't know the TM numbers, I don't really know what any of the TMs that guy has are. One thing I will give the more recent generations is that they tell you what they're called. And now we're on the roof. Now, if you look down there, we were at the vending machines. The Pokemon world has free healthcare, for the Pokemon at least. But the lemonades cost $350. What the shit? But I do know the reason for that. It's because, it's in yen. Because the Pokemon universe uses pretty much the equivalent to Japanese yen. 100 yen basically equals $1, so that's $3.50. So that's $3.50 for lemonade, roughly, which is still far too much. Anyway, now we're getting out of the department store, so we can head on to the next location in Goldenrod Town, which I want to show off. Which I really can't because I don't have a needed item. And right back out. Because you need an item from a certain mini-dungeon coming up to really do anything in there. And this is the radio tower. Now, you can actually get an item which is actually needed later on in the storyline for here, so you might as well get it anyway. Also, this guy right here has the Lucky Number Show, which is a game which is pretty much a mainstay, I think, introduced in Gen 1, or was it introduced here? But searches throughout any Pokemon you own for a Pokemon that matches the ID number that says. I hear you can manipulate it by doing something with the game's memory, but at that point, just hack it and give yourself the Pokemon. What's the rewards? Anyway, this is a quiz to get the radio cards. From what I remember, this is quite different from the questions in Gold and Silver, but it's pretty easy, especially for someone like me. HMO1 is not Flash, that is Cut. Really, this is a pretty easy quiz, but if you haven't paid attention much throughout the game and just skipped through all the text, it might be a bit more difficult. And if you hadn't gone to the game corner yet, you wouldn't really know that, but they don't have Charmanders. I think they have Pikachus? At least that's what I remember. It's been a while since I really did anything in the game corner, even though I will be showing it off here. So, this is the radio. If you can press up and down or to tune it to certain things, like Oak's Pokemon Talk, which is pretty much just tells you what Pokemon are where. Music, which I think is actually music from in-game. One I skipped over, and then there won't be any more until later in the game. And this is the metro station. This place won't have any use until later in the game, so I'll discuss that later. But as you can tell, it's definitely a big train. Now there's the gym, but there's some other things I still need to show off in the town before I even think about going in there. Nothing in that house. I haven't played this game in a while, alright. I don't remember the layout as well as I used to. I've been playing way too much of Gen 5 recently. I still have to get Black and White 2, which just came out on Sunday. In fact, a week ago. And this is where we get the bicycle, which is a very useful item. He gives it to you for free and loans it to you, but but later in the game, I will say, he calls you and says, just take it. You're giving me a lot of business. And introduced into this generation of the games is that if you go into your pack and go to the key items, you can use the select feature to register it to the select button. Meaning you can pull it out anytime, pull it out or put it back in anytime you press the select button in certain areas. I got distracted there. So let's show this bike off. It's pretty much just a very fast version of walking, which is the fastest way to move around until Gen 3 introduced the bike shoes, the running shoes for a bit. And now we have battles with trainers that I'll be cutting out. I'll be leaving in mandatory battles starting next parts, which might get a bit tedious, but I might see more Pokemon that way. In fact, you know what? I'm not sure how our Pokedex is doing at this point. No, we can't go in that door yet. We will later, though. Now, these two guys, these two people, one does a haircut for your Pokemon, which increases its happiness, and the other sells herbs, which decrease a Pokemon's happiness value, but are rather good for healing. I doubt a haircut would make a Pokemon stronger, unless you're using the move Return. And happiness values really only decide how well they'll follow your orders, or follow the commands you give, or influence certain moves' attack power. And Cam took quite the beating in that battle, as you can see. And even though there's no more battles, I decided to send Abe out. Yeah, really, I'm just trying to get everyone to level 20 because I like having everyone around the same basic level. Now we're in this area. There's an important building to the left there, but I don't need to go in it. Anyway, if you may have noticed, we got an item in there. We got the coin case, which allows us to use this game corner. You know, for some reason, I played way too much in later generations where people actually give you coins when you talk to them, which there aren't in this one for some odd reason. I will say though, the theme, I love the casino's theme, but the theme itself just reminds me of something I'd hear in Mega Man Battle Network for some reason. Now you can also get rewards here. You can get a couple TMs, which I don't know what they are. And from the girl on the right, you can get Pokemon. Abra for 100 coins. Something else for 300, for like 500, and Wobbuffet for 1500. So I decided to show off the slots, and I go in until I actually get a row of something, which almost happens quite a few times, as you'll see. Now, each of the different things, if you line them up, gives you a different coin amounts. I know the 777s give you 100 coins, which is rather nice. No, really, this is just so you can get certain TMs or items, or certain Pokemon that might be hard to get. Otherwise, it's not really worth your time. But I got lucky, and the only thing I matched up was a 777. And sadly, you have to wait for your payout to go into your credits. I think they changed that in Gen 3 onwards, so I haven't played enough. I don't really use the casino much anymore. So anyway, now I decided to go look at the rewards that I could reap, but I decided not to do anything. At some point, I might... At some point, I might get one of the Pokemon from here. I'm not really sure. I forget what the Cubone. It's actually kind of a rare one. I might decide to come back and get that at some point, because I think that's actually a rather good one when you evolve it. But I don't really remember. And anyway, we're pretty much done here in Goldenrod in terms of exploration. There's only one building left to see, besides that house on the left, which is not really important yet. And this is the house of the Name Raider. He rates the names of Pokemon you catch, or nickname, and then you can change them too. But I'm happy with the nicknames I'm giving everyone. And now we're in the gym, which is not that hard of a gym, but if you're not careful, the boss will take you by surprise. And she teleported back 2 feet, apparently had the force. Anyway, but if you look carefully at maps of this gym, or if you look very carefully when I'm walking around here, you can see that this gym is shaped like a Clefairy, which is a fairly rare normal type Pokemon that can be kind of useful from what I remember. Like, I'm right underneath the feet right now, and that leads right back to the start, so I decided to go way back. And yeah, from now on, I am pretty much going to be fighting any trainers I come across. Because not only do I get precious money from it, but the experience you get from trainer battles is far better than from random battles. Go away, trainers. No one likes you. Yeah, look. See, now we're in the middle of the face, and one last trainer before the gym leader. And I just want you guys to know, the rest of this video is pretty much the gym leader fights. It's because of the one Pokemon she uses that, well, the second one she uses really. But I'll get to that when we get to it. And this is Whitney, who, from what I remember, is actually fairly new to the gym leader crowd, but I wouldn't really remember. Her first Pokemon is a level 18 Clefairy. The attack that it will use most often is Metronome, which summons a random other attack. I think it can summon any attack, really. To the point where it can also use Recover, which is annoying. Ugh. Try attack. If I remember correctly, you don't really see that until late game, usually. But be careful with your attacks. Make sure to play defensively if needed. And be careful when it learns Mimic, because it mimics the most recent attack that you use. So if you used, like, Hyper Beam, if you somehow had it this early, you might not survive. Then again, if you have Hyper Beam this early, you're probably hacking into the game's coding, so you probably deserve it. And that's the end of Clefairy, and now it's time for what makes this fight so scary. She sends out MILTANK. Now, MILTANK itself is actually not that good of a Pokemon. Well, it can be. But it's not usually that difficult, except for this fight for some reason, because the AI is a cheating whore. It's level 20, which is lower than most of my Pokemon. But the thing is about it is that it uses Rollout, which is an attack that once you use it once, will use it in the next 5 turns consecutively should it hit. And every time it hits, it gets more powerful. If you have the exact team I have, I'd go from using a curse on it, then just seeing if you can whittle down its HP with your other Pokemon's attacks. Just be careful of that freaking rollout. Play your cards right. Make sure your Pokemon have enough HP, because I barely survived that. And really just be overall careful, and you should be alright. Because you'll see, I barely win this battle because of this damn thing, because this thing scarred my childhood. Every game has a gym leader that has one pain-in-the-ass Pokemon. Usually it's in one of the later gyms, like 6th or 7th. But in this one, it's in the 3rd. What the heck, Nintendo? Yeah. Now again, now I think did it use that attack yet? I forget. No, it didn't. Because you'll see this Pokemon, MILTANK has another attack, Milk Drink, which recovers its HP by a fuck ton. Yeah, can you see why this thing's annoying? And since I didn't want to chance it, I decided to not attack with Abe and actually bring out one of my revives. My only revive, mind you, and use it on Blaze, because he's the only thing fast enough to take this thing down before it uses its next attack. Which, knowing this game's AI, it would have been Milk Drink. And... she's done! I just made steak out of that cow. And even though it's 2 levels lower than Blaze, you still get almost 1,000 experience from it. It's like they intended it to be one of the hardest fights in the game. But anyway, we beat Whitney, but we didn't get the badge because we made her cry. It's probably because, from what I remember, she's like, what, 11, 12? Maybe, she's like 9 to 12, so she's still young, and she pretty much still likes like a spoiled brat. But once that person below her talks to you and you talk to her, you can get it, and the TM45, which is Attract, which isn't that useful. It can actually only be used against Pokemon of the opposite gender of the ones you're using. So which pretty much acts kind of like a paralysis with 50-50% with a 50-50 chance of it not attacking. You know, for me, it's more like 70-30. Anyway, I'm gonna have to end this. I'm almost gonna have to end this off. Now, I thought there was something I could do in this house, but not yet. So anyway, rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and next time on Pokemon Silver, I played that too much recently. Next time on Pokemon Crystal, we'll move on to the game and into the next town. See you guys then.